Hello and welcome to the Maiden Romance Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Bailey, and we have my co-host here, Sab, aka SR7.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Well, welcome to this week's episode.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. The weather is dismal, as always, as is October weather. And how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, mostly just tired.
Mm.
And I finished a book this week, so
Oh, yes,
yeah.
I know. Because I read the final chapter.
I know. Jesus. Yes, anyway, most people know this book has taken me a long time to write, so I'm pretty happy it's
Well,
done.
congratulations.
Thank you.
I am proud of you, as always. And this is a
Aw.
wonderful story, as always.
Yeah, Sab's the only one who knows like what's going on in this book.
It's a
fully.
fucking great book. It's fucking amazing. Like,
Okay.
I fully love the characters. Oh yeah, Cole and Meredith.
Oh damn. Anyway, let's move on from my book.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about quite a maybe controversial and serious topic this week.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it. Today's topic is COVID romances, yay or nay? Damn, son. So we decided to do this episode because, and there's a very good reason for this. Recently, we saw a book I saw a book on Goodreads and I shared it with Sab. I'm not going to mention the name of the book nor the author because I don't want to give it any publicity. However, or any more publicity than it's already had. However, I found the book incredibly inappropriate and exploitative because the author said in the description of this book, I wrote this to make some money.
Oh.
And that got me thinking how we are living in these, that we're living in this pandemic. And the fact that someone wrote a romance related to the pandemic that involved someone falling in love with the virus made me feel ill. I don't know about you.
Oh.
Yeah, I felt really sick, and especially because of the fact that they really admitted that it was to make money. I just thought, you know what, this feels really inappropriate, exploitative, and just insensitive. And I just thought, why don't we talk about this? Talk about writing about things like pandemics and national tragedies and writing them into our stories, and how how you do it in a way that's not insensitive or inappropriate. Like this book, because we all want to, when you're writing contemporary or contemporary fiction, it's not just romance. Sometimes we want to put in the real life, things in the real world. But when we're living in a pandemic such as this, I just don't know how I feel about that. I don't know about you.
I think okay, so with what we're living with at the moment, it's such a it's a really terrifying time for people. There are so many deaths and losses and fears and frustration, and on one hand I've seen this in the writing community where you have many writers saying what people need right now are romance books, and I agree, romance books are incredibly comforting, they're an escapism, not just romance books but other books in general, but I think there's something magical about romance. However, when I've seen books, romance books surrounding or integrating the virus, it just makes me feel uneasy. It makes me feel really, it doesn't actually make me feel in any way like, oh, I would read this, or it makes me feel I can escape with this story. It just makes me feel even more frustrated and like, I don't know, I don't find it appropriate. I don't agree with it. I don't feel like it's just my personal opinion, but I don't feel like it should be getting the kind of publicity that it's receiving, because there are so many people who are going through a lot of things right now, and it's kind of like it's just insensitive. I just, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
gosh, I'm trying not to be like, you know what I'm trying not to be. I'm trying not to be so like, I don't want to step on people's toes, because I know that not everyone's going to have the same views or opinions, and I respect that. But you know, it's just talking about.
yeah, not everyone is going to agree with us, and not everyone's going to have the same opinion. But I think we're allowed to say how we feel because this is our viewpoint on it. And if it
Yeah.
steps on people's toes, fine. Well, it can just be a I can't think of the word.
It's basically the podcast is like our space, basically, to have our opinion. I guess, I suppose it's what our listeners are after. Basically, they want to hear our thoughts on these things, but also pose the question to our listeners as well as to how they feel.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this is something that is obviously a wider topic. It's not just it's not really just about romance, but the thing is that romance is such a has a high turnover of books, and so people have jumped on this and gone, okay, let's write about the, the COVID-19, and let's just make stories about it. And I'm like, for me, I've not personally experienced having anyone. I don't know anyone who's had. I personally don't know anyone who's had COVID. I know of people who have, obviously, in my area and so on. But I don't know anyone personally had it. But I don't think anyone who has had a family member who's gone through that, who has, died, or who has had COVID, would see a book like, a romance book about the situation and think, oh yes, that's going to be something I want to read. Like, we don't want to be, no offense, but I don't want to be reminded of the fact that the virus is out there by a romance book, because I already know it's there, and I don't read for that reason. I read to escape. And also I just find, like I said, you said, it is insensitive to write about something that is a global tragedy, because let's face it, over 1 million people have died. And we're nearing the point where 40 million people have had. There's less than 40 million, but we're nearing a point where about almost 40 million people have been diagnosed with COVID. And to write about, something in a fun, humorous way like that just really, it rubs me up the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because for me, that is exactly what's wrong with society and the world, is that people seem to think that, oh, I'll write about this and I'll make a quick buck. And it's like, you're making a quick buck out of something that is killing people. And for me, that's not okay. That's really like disturbing. That it just disturbs me, and it makes me kind of worried for humanity.
Having a look at this book once again,
yes,
properly this time, I'm actually filled with more anger than disgust right now, because from what I'm seeing is that they've basically taken the piss. And the problem with this is it's not just the fact that this is a story about falling in love with the virus, but it's the fact that they've turned this into a romance, and potentially people who have read this book will basically take the piss out of romance in itself. And it's just incredibly frustrating and annoying, because this makes me think back to our episodes about romance being trashy, or people thinking it's trashy and just not something to be taken seriously, when people hear that you're a romance writer and they just think, oh, that it's not it's not a real job. It's just it there's everything wrong with this.
It's not just that it's like this is inappropriate to write a story about a virus that is killing people. It's that this also gives us a bad name, and we've already have an uphill battle as it is to become a genre that's respected. And now this kind of shit just makes it worse. Like, it makes it okay. It validates these people's stereotypical ideas, or fixed ideas about romance, and that annoys me. Well, it annoys you. It annoys me.
I'm so confused. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just getting more and more riled up now because I'm seeing that this is the author's debut and an attempt to trying to pay the bills following a job loss. Okay, I understand this is really difficult times. There have been loads of job losses and a lot of people are struggling and trying to make ends meet right now, which is fine. But do you know how many writers there are within the writing community who pour their heart out into creating a story that's incredibly passionate to them and important? They spend years like planning, plotting, falling in love with characters, hoping to basically catch a break and get eyes on their story. And they don't get that much publicity, and they don't get as many reviews or even readers who are interested in something that they've been so passionate about for their debut. And along comes someone who has basically taken the piss, used something that's happening in the world currently, which is very tragic and devastating and all kinds of shit, and it's received these many reviews, and it just frustrates me so much. Oh no.
It's like the worst type of clickbait imaginable, because it's not just taking away attention from things that are actually worthwhile reading. I'm sorry, but that is a book about this is not fucking worthwhile reading. Yeah, it might give you a laugh, but what the fuck is it doing in your life? Like, really? How is that? How is reading this and giving this person validation and money really helping anyone other than some selfish idiot? I'm sorry, but the writer who wrote this is a fucking selfish idiot who and I get that it's about the fact that they need to make some money to support their family. Yeah, I respect that, but I do not respect the way that they've gone about it, because to me, it's just disgusting. It's despicable. Like, to take this pandemic and use it in that way, take the virus, which is killing people, and use it in that way and make a fucking joke out of it. Like, yeah, okay, maybe in a few years' time when this is over, we'll look back at it and make fun of it. But when you're in the middle of a situation where people are dying, people are losing their money, people are losing their jobs, their homes, their families, it baffles me how anyone would think this is okay. Like, I don't really see that many people trying to use this as a joke, because it's not funny. Like, I don't think it's funny. You don't think it's funny. I don't think most people in the world who are suffering through it think it's very funny, especially not people who've had a loved one die or have gone through the virus themselves. I don't think many of those people would find that funny. Like, and the fact that so many people have read this and given it the time of day, that annoys me as well, because I'm like, you're part of the problem. And I'm going to call these people out and say, well, if you've given attention to this, yes, I posted about it on my Twitter because I was so disgusted by it. That's a bit different, because I was actually saying, look at this bullshit, like, why are people doing this? But people have actually read it and given this person their money. What are you doing with your life? Like, go and give money to someone who actually is making, just do something else with your life other than reading bullshit like this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even, actually, why am I apologizing?
No, don't.
I'm not going to apologize, because don't give these people attention. When they're exploiting something like this. To me, this is like the same thing as like going around advocating that people should be like, I don't know, sex trafficking or whatever. Like, that's not okay. Why is it then okay to write a romance about fucking falling in love with a virus? Like, what? Sorry. It makes me so angry.
It's you know what, I get it. And there have been a fair share of negative reviews and uproar.
Yeah.
But it's like,
You're the ones who are still giving it the time of day.
I'm gobsmacked. Like, oh dear. I don't know, guys. What's happening? What is actually happening in 2020? I have no idea.
2020 is a crazy year.
It really is, and we've only got 2 months left of it.
Yeah, after this, I know.
But I just feel like it's not even going to end there.
It's not.
It's gonna 2020 is just the beginning, and then it's gonna just, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know when. I don't think that this is going to end anytime soon. And everyone's just like, oh, they're going to find a vaccine. And I'm like, yeah, but how long did it take to find the vaccine for the flu? And that still has to be given every year. So don't come at me and say, oh, when they find a vaccine, we'll be okay. Yeah, no, you're deluding yourselves if you think that's going to solve the problem, because it's not. Like, come on, people.
Whilst I
Anyways,
agree
yes.
that quarantine has given people the opportunity to write more, well, for some, because I can't say that many writers, like, it's not the same for all writers. There's some who have thrived and been able to focus a lot more. There are others who have suffered and struggled. So I can't say that this is for everyone. But whilst I can understand why this is a time for writers to find ways of being creative, and non-writers to find their own outlets of creativity to survive in these times, I just don't agree with this topic being mixed with romance at all. It just upsets me completely. And the first thing that I thought when I found out that the UK was moving into tier 2, was
like, not the entirety of the UK, England.
No, England.
Yes.
But I was thinking to myself, oh God, there's going to be like another wave of coronavirus COVID romances. And I just felt such dread, because I was like, no, please stop, please. Because surely there are other things that you can write.
I agree. I was like, oh God, this is going to be getting worse. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to read stuff about being in quarantine. And then there's these like jokes on the internet, and like, oh, romances after post-COVID are going to be about people having masks on, and have you got your sanitizer and all of this. And I'm just like, that's not even funny.
It's like, not. It's just ridiculous. But Sarah, just look at this. Just imagine. I see it. I am not even going to lie to you. I called it first because I see this. In December, there are going to be romance books called A COVID Christmas.
Oh God.
I'm telling you, I called it. Okay, you guys, listeners, if you see a romance book or any romance books that are titled COVID Christmas, shout out to us, because 100%, I'm telling you, this is going to happen. I'm telling you now, and this is what upsets me so much.
Or Christmas in quarantine.
Oh God, it gets worse.
Yeah, no, I don't want. Oh God, no, why?
It's gonna happen. 100%.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
And we're gonna sit there going, "Why does this exist?" Like, I will say this now. I have not picked up any book that has remotely anything to do with COVID. I'm not picked up a quarantine romance. I've not picked up any of those because I see them and I'm like, no, I don't want to read that. Like, I want to read about the normality, like people falling in love where they can actually touch each other without breaking the fucking law.
The
Like,
problem,
yeah.
is, stuck together was a romance trope. It always
Yes.
has, and now with this, it's like, oh, this is a trope already.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, but no, guys, no.
No, Sarah and Sab don't want to see this, even though we know we are. God. And it kind of is. It's just, I just find the entire thing very troubling, because it's like, why, who, why do you want to read about this, people? Like, really?
I don't
That's
know.
my question.
I just
Like, I just don't want to be reminded of the fact that we're getting back in court. Like, because in Scotland we've not been able to go into other people's houses for a lot longer than in England, because we have different rules here. And I'm like, I don't want to be reminded of the fact that I can't go and visit I can see my mum and my family, but I can't, it has to be outside. And I'm like, I live in Scotland. It's coming up to winter. It rains a lot here. It's going to snow.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, people, that's really great. And then I'm like, what the fuck are we going to do about Christmas? Like, those are my things on it. And I'm just like, I don't want to read about COVID Christmas. Like, give me a fucking break.
Oh gosh.
Like, thanks for the reminder that Christmas is probably going to be like not going to be able to see my family. Thanks for that reminder. That's just,
we don't know. No one knows what's going to happen.
No one's going to happen.
To be honest, the way things are going, I don't foresee things getting better anytime soon.
No, because
worse, and Christmas is just going to be.
Of course, yeah, we're coming into winter in the northern hemisphere, like that, and like it's as we know with the flu, it gets worse in winter. So
yeah,
we're gonna see the same thing, and that worries me. And then, yeah, it's just. And then to have all of this bullshit that I go online and I'm looking for a book and it's like, oh, quarantine, and I'm like, really?
Trending bestsellers, and you're just like, fuck, and you're just here like,
here I am,
like just like.
Here I am trying to like make a living from writing romances, and I'm like, here these people like coming along and just putting out
nonsense, basically, and that's what frustrates me, is that it's absolute nonsense.
Exactly.
I don't know, you guys.
And I'm just like, here I am trying to survive and make a living, and then someone else comes along and puts this shit out, and I'm like, oh, great, there's another person. It's like I don't see other writers as my competition. That's not the way I see it, but I'm just like, it frustrates me, because all I want to do, like, I want to put out books that I love, yes, but I also have to kind of think about this. Is like I make my living from my books. Like, this is not just about, for me, it's never, when I started doing this, it's like I can't just think about the stories. You always have to think about, am I going to have enough money going forward? So the fact that someone comes along and puts out shit like this and makes a ton of money, I'm just like, that goes against everything to me. Like, that goes against my morals as a person. That goes, because I could do that. I could put out some stupid book about the virus, make a bunch of money, but would I feel good about myself? No, I wouldn't. I would not. But that goes against all of my self-belief. And I'm just like, I'm not going to do that to make a buck, like to make a penny or a pound or whatever. Like, it's so to me, it's morally wrong. And I'm not going to go against my morals just to make some money. Like, but sadly, this is the way that the world kind of revolves around money. This is why people are doing this shit, is because they need to make some money.
Yeah.
And that's depressing. Because it's like, we're all suffering here, but you don't see me going out writing bullshit like this and making,
It's disrespectful, man. It's just disrespectful and frustrating to hard-working writers, man, who are just. It's just disrespectful to everyone. It's just like,
it's disrespectful for the writers who are actually putting hard effort and time into writing decent stories that actually means something. It's disrespectful to everyone who has died from COVID-19. It's disrespectful to everyone who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. That's a lot of people in the world that's disrespectful to. And like, you guys need to just stop doing this shit. Like, I get the fact that you need to make some money, but fucking do it in other ways that is not like just do it. Just find another way that's not disgusting behavior and makes me want to be sick.
I agree. I agree.
Like, this is just, and I'm sorry, actually I'm not apologizing. I'm not sorry that this has turned into like this massive rant topic, because this is a topic I think we both feel strongly about. It's not just about COVID, it's about the wider kind of problem of people using things like this to make money. It's like, where are we as a society and humanity? Where is your humanity?
Some reviewers have said about this story that it's all kind of tongue-in-cheek humor and exactly what we need to lighten things in this in these times. But I'm thinking to myself, you are just one person who thinks this. Because imagine if tomorrow your relative died with COVID, will you still be feeling the same way? Like, it's just
exactly.
I don't know.
I think this car, I just don't seem to. Some people just who don't seem to realize how horrifying it is, like, to have someone die from the virus. Like, I'm not personally experienced it myself, but I can imagine how horrifying it is to, someone that you love. Because I'll put this out there. Last year, both of my grandmothers died, and that was a really difficult time for me. They didn't die of COVID, obviously. Both of them died of dementia, or they had dementia, and one of them had Alzheimer's, the other one. And I know how horrifying it was for me, or the grief I went through dealing with that. So I can imagine if someone they love, I can relate to someone who has had the death of a loved one, and that makes me upset that someone would find it funny to make it's tongue in cheek when people are dying. Like, it's not funny. Like, and it's not just a few people dying. Over 1 million people have died. That's a lot of people. Considering in Scotland there are already the population is about 7 million. And I'm sitting here thinking, imagine if 1 million people in Scotland were decimated. That's a lot of people. Like, if I'm putting that in perspective, that's that's 10%, essentially, rough. I don't even know what the percentage is, but that's a big portion of the population. If I was to solely look at Scotland and say 1 million people in Scotland have died, that's wiped it down to 6 million people. Like, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So these people are clearly not putting the virus and what it's done to the world into perspective. And I know that there's people out there who don't even believe that the virus is a thing. They think it's some kind of fucking conspiracy. And I'm like, how?
So troubling.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, people, like, what is wrong with you? It's not funny. It's not a funny topic. Like, also, especially when we're still in the middle of it. I'm like, that's not something to joke about or be tongue in cheek about. Like,
there's
for me,
there's nothing humorous about what's happening. I had a relative who was sent into hospital for an operation, and she has dementia as well, and she was very confused. She was very lonely and scared, and what was worse is that no one could see her because of this virus. No one could visit, and it was so upsetting for me, because you have a relative who is in hospital who who is feeling lost and scared and confused, and you can't even comfort them, and that's puts you in a place of complete helplessness because of this virus and because of people's selfishness, because things have just escalated to this point again, and it's the worst feeling. You just my relative doesn't have the virus, but it's the fact that it's the impact of the virus and what it's doing to people that frustrates me. And then along comes books like these, and it's just
exactly it's more than just the virus. It's everything that it's done to because of it. Look at our economy, look at all of the people, all of the shit that's going on, look, job losses, those are like knock-on effects of something, and then people are just making fun of it, and I'm like, don't be an insensitive dickhead. Like, just don't. That's how I feel on it. I'm like, don't be insensitive. Maybe in a few years' time, when this is all not so, we're not living in it, then maybe we can make a joke about it, but
not during,
not when you're living in the time of it. It's just like, it just irks me to the point where I just want to kind of scream and say, why are you doing this to us people?
I would love to know what our listeners feel on this, though. See if they yay or nay it, because everyone's experience is different. But I wouldn't say things are necessarily positive to that point of you can enjoy a book like this, but each to their own, I guess. But geez,
I'm interested to know what listeners think about this topic. I'm interested to know if you have read a book, a romance book that is related to the virus in any way. Like, I kind of I don't really mind like books about being in quarantine, but I don't really agree with them. But I'm not going to say to the authors, don't write stuff like that. But when it's a book that's like this one, then I'm just like, no, don't do this. Just don't. It's not. You're just making yourself look like a dick. And I've said on this podcast many times, don't be a dick. I think that's my motto in life.
Another Sarah-ism.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dickhead. A Sarah-ism, yes. Apparently, I have lots of Sarah-isms.
Yeah, she does.
One of Sab's favourite is, why is this my life?
No, it's actually, what is this life?
Oh yeah, what is this life? Well, funny enough, this started with, why is this my life? It's something I say to my husband all the time. And then it kind of, I think something happened when we were doing something, and I said, what is this life? Like, what is this life I'm living right now? And then it just became a thing. So those are two of my catchphrases, people. Or maybe three of them anyway.
What's funny is that's Sarah-ism, but one of the things that I say often is, I'm not about that life.
Yes.
That's like, I literally say that when something's happening, and I'm just like, no, I'm not about that life. I'm not about this life. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I'm just
not about that life. So that's a Sabism for you. I could tell you lots of Sabisms, but she might not approve of some of the ones that I'll tell you, so I won't.
To be honest, I can't even remember. I've got a bit of a dory memory currently with all this bloody stress and tired.
Well, okay. So whenever I mention someone who's annoying me, Sab just comes out with, kill him. As a solution to my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we wouldn't really kill anyone, but it's just a saying now.
It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
Like, problem solved. Then
just get rid of him.
Just get rid of him.
I think maybe it's because that's what my character's solutions to problems are way too often. It's like, oh, this guy is like fucking up my life. I'm just gonna kill him. I'm like, okay.
I love that you've gone you've moved from your characters being, saints to and not killing and not believing in that we're just going to be doing this. I find it absolutely hilarious when I come across a chapter where there's been like a murder or some shit, and I'm just like, fuck's sake, yeah. Here for it. I wasn't expecting this shit. Oh yeah.
Okay, well, to be fair, like if we're going to talk about that, then I had actually foreshadowed that was going to happen way earlier in the book. So this shouldn't really come that as big a surprise that this person killed someone.
You have to just remember though, Sarah.
Yes, you have a Dory memory.
Yes, this is what you have to remember. Let's just remember.
To be fair, I did actually, that death that happened was foreshadowed.
It was foreshadowed. It will be foreshadowed for readers.
Yes.
But when Sab is meant to be the reliable CP, starts reading a Sarah Bailey book, she forgets stuff and she just gets absolutely surprised and overwhelmed and just like mind blown and excited about shit happening. And then it's like, oh, what?
Yeah, it was like major plot twist happening. That was a fucking plot twist for me, I have to say, some of that. So anyway, that we've gone very,
It's
very
funny.
off. Yes.
But no, it's good. It's good we can laugh because this topic's been a little bit full of frustration.
Yes, this is a deep topic, man. Now we're just gonna have a laugh for the rest of the episode. No, I'm joking. No, but I think like things like, you know, I write about murder. I write about people killing other people. I write about really disturbing topics like abuse and alcoholism and drug taking. Yes, there is more. I haven't had any drug taking in my current books, but there will be drug taking in my further books. That I talk about things like fucking, I don't know, shit, man. I wrote about a character who incest, man. I mean, I went there, like, not that I approve of that topic or anything, but
oh my god, yeah. For a minute, I was like, "You did?" then I had to pause and be like, "Yeah."
Yes, Sab. It was rape. It wasn't like
I remember
a consensual thing that happened.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Honestly, sorry, you guys. Memory.
But I've gone there with all these things. But can I just say these things do happen in life, right? But they're not like a fucking massively prevalent thing that's going on right now as a fucking global pandemic. Like, come on, people. Like, I can write about, you know, people going around, I don't know, stabbing people or cutting their throats or shooting them. But that's, to me, that's not the same as writing about a virus that's killing killed over 1 million people. Like, you know. But I don't know if some other people might not find that that's appropriate to write about. I don't really care. If you don't like it, don't read it. But you know, but I mean, you could say that about these like COVID romances. Like, you don't like it, don't read it. But I just think that it's kind of like, you know, it's all very well saying that, but this is different because it's happening to us right now. Like, it just doesn't feel the same. It just feels, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth, and that's the biggest problem for me. Like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to say that murder leaves a bright, happy, sunshine rainbow feeling. Just going to say, like, I don't enjoy writing about it. It's not like I go, I'm going to write about someone killing another person. You know, that's going to be so much fun. Like, that's not what I think.
Is it bad that I quite happily feel that way when I'm writing? Is it bad?
Okay, I'm not going to say that it's not like, I don't like revel in doing it, but I also don't like, I'm not like, I don't not enjoy it at the same time.
I don't know. I'm just different. I feel like I'm just when I haven't written pirates in a while, but when I do, I'm very much in a fuck yeah kind of state of mind. And yeah, like it's just necessary. It's just the norm. I don't know. It's just I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like sometimes I want to get back into that, but other times I'm just like, maybe I'm not in a great state of mind to do so.
Well, no, maybe now is the time, because now you're like, in a murderous state of mind.
I can't. You know, I have priorities.
Yes, I know you've got priorities. I know.
So
Yes, I do. No, I'm not gonna say I don't. It's not that I don't enjoy. It's not that I do enjoy writing about these dark, fucked up characters, right? That's not. But I don't like go into a chapter where I know I'm going to write blood and violence, going, yes, this is going to be so much. This is going to be such the funnest thing in the world. I'm not like bloodthirsty in that way, but I do like enjoy writing the fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
Way more than I probably should. Like it satisfies a part of my brain.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to agree with you there and say that when okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. The more that Sarah comes out with these new stories, and the darker they get, the more I'm like, oh, I'm here for it. I love this, because she just goes so dark with it, and I'm so excited.
I know what you're excited about. I know exactly what you're waiting for me to
I'm
write.
really waiting for it. Like, I'm here shaking my hands with excitement, because I'm just like, it's just a different level. This is just different.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the Four Horsemen, and we're talking about the level of violence that has already occurred in this book.
Yeah,
like that. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. The last chapter I wrote came out of fucking nowhere, and I was like, it's a flashback to something, and I wrote it, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these four? But then I was like, well, they are the Four Horsemen, so they're going to be fucked up. And it just made me excited, because I was like, yes, I can write about these people, these characters that really probably don't have any morals. I'm just going to put this out there. Yeah. I don't think the four of them have morals. And that's scary to write about characters like that. It's very
fun, man. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun
because you can go to dark places, and I think in a lot of ways, writing these things have made me question my own morality. Because I'm like, I have to kind of decide, how dark am I willing to go, like, to write their story in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think it's also going to test me too, because as much as I like dark and twisted, I think from what I've seen of these characters so far, shit is going to get very real and
very dark.
I'm going to have to I have to perform a duty as Sarah's CP to ensure that things don't get too out of hand. So,
I don't honestly, I do not trust these characters.
Yeah,
you should not trust them either.
I don't. I never said. When did I say that I did? I don't. I said I like them.
Yes,
I like them very much, and I think that they're very wild characters. And I don't trust them, not at all. But I think with this one,
this is going to test my boundaries and your boundaries. I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Be a little bit careful, slightly.
Because I already tested my boundaries with the last fucking reverse harem. That went to some dark places, like. But I mean, probably not as deep gone, but that went to the dark places. This is gonna go like to dark places to the point where I think it's gonna be like the darkest books I've ever written, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going black.
But can I just say, you guys, you've heard it here first. This is going to be Sarah's books, so please make that if you're not interested in reading a dark romance, don't pick the fucking book up, and don't write a review and say that you didn't know it was a dark romance and give it a low review, because it does my absolute nut in when I see this stuff all the time on Goodreads. It does my head in. Not necessarily Sarah's books, but other dark romance books. I'm just like, you have wasted everyone's time here. You have rated this book low because you were so stupid that you didn't even read this properly before you started this book, and it just does my head in. I just need to throw that out there because there are people like that out there in the world who just don't take caution to read the author's notes, and it just does my head in. Honestly, it really does. It's just irksome. It's irksome.
I'm with you on that. I hate it too. It really drives me nuts because I'm just like, yeah, I said this is dark. Do you you know, we're talking dark. We've had an episode on dark romance before. Dark means fucking murders, kidnappings, dubious consent, sometimes no consent, although I don't agree with that. But it has that fucking, it's just dark. It's disturbing. It's not, they're not nice people. They're not morally, some of them are not right in the head. So, you know, just don't pick it up if that's not your thing. That's all.
Yeah, sorry. Sarah said it in a polite way at the end. I could have.
Nah, also, yeah, don't, just fucking put the book down and don't write about it. Just fucking put the book down. If it gets too dark for you, put the fucking book down.
No, but wait, there are actually some reviews that I've seen on some dark romance books where it says it wasn't dark enough. I'm sorry, I've taken us down a rabbit hole, but you just can't win with people.
No, you can't. I mean, yeah, like I've started to kind of go, okay, well, this is not as dark as what I usually write. This is more of a grey romance. I've actually now put tags on my books that are grey romances, so they're not that dark. Because I just think, you know what? I don't want someone coming into this and thinking, oh, this is really dark and fucked up. It's not that dark. Like, these current books I'm writing are not that dark. But The Four Horsemen is fucking dark as shit. It's going to be really dark. It's one of those books where it'll lull you into a series. It'll lull you into false sense of security as you start reading it. Like, oh, it's not that bad. And then it just goes, pfft. It just went bam, slap. Dark as shit. Like, that's the book. That's what I'm writing is, oh, it's not that dark. It's like, oh, okay. They're just murdering someone now. Okay. Like, that's the kind of shit that you're going to be expecting. Whereas my other series that I'm writing isn't that dark. Like, yeah, there's some killing in it. There are murders in it. I'm not going to lie. But they're not like, the darkness doesn't come between the couple. It's more the outside darkness. I think that's where I'll go with it, you know.
Mm.
Anyway, we're gone completely away from the topic.
Of course.
Anyway, but yeah, our last thing on this is, if you don't like dark romances, don't pick them up.
Mm.
Anyway, and now we'll go back to the original topic of talking about the virus and how I think we'll wrap our final thoughts up on the situation of writing COVID romances. And I think my stance on it is just don't. I am in the nay camp, okay? It doesn't really matter what type of romance it is to do with the pandemic. I'm just not here for it, okay? So I'm firmly in the nay camp. I understand why people have written them. I understand all of that, but I just don't. I'm a no.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Sab.
I'm a no.
You're
it's a no from me.
No from me. So guys, what we want to know is, what do you think? So we're going to, as we said before, what do you think about this topic? Let us know when we post this episode. Give us a shout on Twitter or on Facebook.
Maybe another poll.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do another poll. I know our last poll was a bit late because I had some back issues and was not online very much, but we'll do another poll. But if you want to shout us out and tell us what you think about them, then please do, because we're more than happy to, we love hearing from our listeners, okay? Mm-hmm. And we really, really appreciate it. People getting involved and telling us what their feelings are on these things, because we're always finding it interesting to see other people's viewpoints, you know. So guys, that was our episode on COVID romance, yay or nay. And that's the Maiden Romance podcast. if you enjoy our podcast, please let us know, because we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And if you have any topics you want us to talk about, let us know, because we will go there, because we've just gone there with this, so we'll go there. We're the podcast that goes there with romance. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will see you again in the next episode.
Yes.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.